The sailboat. The wizard had long believed that every vessel had a personality. Some boats were proud and fast. Some were stubborn and creaky. Some were graceful like swans. And some, like his beloved little sailboat, were a bit like an elderly professor, wise, comfortable, slightly eccentric, and full of rules that made perfect sense once you understood them. But to land-loving visitors, those rules could seem very mysterious indeed. On this particular afternoon, the wizard walked down the dock with his granddaughter skipping beside him. His daughter and younger son followed behind, carrying a bag of groceries and a thermos of coffee. The granddaughter looked at the boat with wide eyes. "Grandpa," she asked, "is this where you live sometimes?" The wizard smiled. "Well now," he said, patting the rail affectionately, "this isn't just a boat. This is a floating palace, a meditation chamber, and occasionally a university of nautical wisdom." She giggled. The wizard stepped aboard carefully and motioned everyone to follow. "First lesson," he announced, raising one finger. "On a sailboat we do not say right and left." He tapped the rail. "This side here is starboard, the right side of the boat." Then he turned and pointed to the opposite side. "And that side is port, the left side." The granddaughter repeated the words proudly. "Starboard and port, exactly," said the wizard. "Now you're speaking sailor already." The Propane Ritual The Wizard crouched beside a hatch in the cockpit. "Now here is one of the little rituals of the boat." He lifted the hatch. Inside sat the propane tank that fed the camp stove. "This valve," he said, turning it slowly, "must be opened when we arrive and closed when we leave. Boats like habits. When sailors keep good habits, the boat stays happy." His daughter laughed. "Dad, you sound like you're talking about a cat." "Boats are a little like cats," he said thoughtfully. "If you treat them right, they purr. If you ignore them, they bite." He closed the hatch and replaced the padlock. "Always secure things," he added. "The wind is a trickster." The Hatchway Ceremony Next came the companionway hatch. The wizard removed the wooden hatch boards and carefully stacked them along the port side. "To land lovers this may look like a pile of boards," he said. "But to sailors this is the front door of the castle." The granddaughter leaned over the opening. "Can we go inside?" Carefully, the wizard said. "And this brings us to the next sacred rule. The sponge guardians." They stepped down into the cozy cabin. At the bottom of the steps were two humble sponges. The wizard pointed at them solemnly. "These," he said, "are the guardians of the leak." His younger son chuckled. "Dad, no," the wizard continued dramatically. "Every boat has its mysteries. This one has a tiny leak that occasionally visits us. These sponges stand watch so the water does not wander across the cabin." He picked one up and squeezed it. "If they are wet, we wring them out into the trash bin." He did so carefully and placed the sponge back exactly where it had been. "Always return them to their posts," he said. The granddaughter nodded with great seriousness. The carpet of comfort. The wizard unfolded the small carpet. Before laying down the carpet, he explained, "One must confirm the floor is dry. Otherwise, you are building a swamp beneath your feet." His daughter shook her head. "You really do have rules for everything," the wizard smiled. "Rules are simply stories we tell to prevent future problems." The floating home. Once everyone was settled, the wizard gestured around the cabin. "This boat," he said, "is many things. A small home. A traveler's rest stop. A meditation chamber. A quiet observatory for sunsets." He pointed to the V-berth in the bow. "That is the sleeping berth. There's a plastic cover to protect the bedding in case a mischievous drop of water sneaks in." He pointed to the table lamp. These lamps provide our evening glow. Then he nodded toward the head. And that light runs on the boat's solar batteries, so we treat it like treasure and turn it off when finished. His granddaughter whispered, "Solar power, yes indeed," said the wizard proudly. The sun helps run this little palace. The nautical kitchen on the table sat instant coffee. Now, the wizard said, every sailor must know how to make coffee. His son laughed. That's the most important rule yet. The camp stove works beautifully, the wizard continued. But the other stove is a bit of a philosopher, unpredictable and temperamental. Best to leave it alone. The granddaughter examined the plastic cups in the cabinet. Boat cups, she declared. Exactly, the wizard said. And good sailors always clean their dishes so the next traveler finds the boat welcoming. The heater of warmth, the small electric heater, hummed quietly. We keep this set at 72 degrees, the wizard explained. Why 72? His daughter asked. Because it feels like a warm hug, he replied. Lessons of the sea. Later that evening they sat quietly in the cabin while the sun turned the marina golden. The wizard spoke softly. Boats teach us many things. Patience, carefulness, and respect for small details. He looked around the little cabin. A floating home works best when everyone treats it kindly. His granddaughter leaned against him. I like the boat, she said. The wizard nodded. So do I. Every sailor should have a place like this, somewhere between the land and the sea, where life slows down and the mind remembers how to be quiet. Outside, the rigging gently chimed in the breeze. And the wizard's floating palace rested peacefully at the dock, ready for the next lesson, the next sunset, and the next adventure upon the water. God bless the boat, the sailors, and the stories they carry. Robert Colee.